All right, Deuteronomy 3. Good morning. Still morning. Hope my thing don't fall again. Anyway, Deuteronomy 3. We're getting ready to talk about the children of Israel's expedition, and Moses being the person who's talking, and he's telling them how to stay encouraged, do what you got to do. We've done this. Moses like, man, I knew God was all that on paper. I know His word is all of this. He's just not talking. Father, we thank you this morning. We come to you, and we come to you because you are God and you know all things, your wisdom you want to share with us, and I want to know every bit of what you said. Thank you for forgiving me of my sins, and thank you for forgiving me, teaching me how to forgive. So I'm practicing. And thank you that your word is true. And help me to be just like you. And help me to understand your word even clearer. All right, I'm reading from the New Living Translation. Let me just kind of update where we are. We're right outside. Where are we? We're right outside of the Promised Land. God has taught us. He has demonstrated who He was just to come and get us out of Egypt, shut Pharaoh down. Did what He had to do to get us out of there, all the way to hardening Pharaoh's heart to the last point that he had to take the firstborn. And then He got us out, brought us out, opened up the Red Sea, all of these wonderful, awesome things that only God can do. Opened up the Red Sea, fed us, gave us drink, gave us, even allowed us to learn that there was a place where they could just cruise, like on an island where they had pomegranates and nuts and water, and it was just good. And then they got home and they wanted breakfast, and God said, I got you on that. And then he got them. It's everything that you can imagine a good leader would do to provide for his staff or the people that he's working through. God did it. Showed Himself strong. Showed them how to. Took them to medicine. Showed them what type of medicine to do when the skin break out. Told them what to do and who to sleep with, who not to sleep with. Told them how to deal with injustices. Told them who to lock up. Told them what to do when people didn't do it, but they still in trouble and caused somebody else trouble. Gave them a city of refuge. He just organized and made them strong. Told them how to give. Told them how to give. Told them how to. Just told them everything about life and all of the crevices in life. There was nothing that God did not teach. Now He said, let's go. Because you are coming. God selected a group of people that was in bondage for 400 years. That means they had been brainwashed to the point that they had to learn how to become independently dependent on nobody but Him. He said, I went and got the ones that had been rejected by man and treated like I didn't want them treated. So I went down there, raised up a little boy, called his name Moses. Well, his mama called him Moses, and God allowed him because he was drawn out of the water. Well, Pharaoh's kinfolk, the woman that was in the water, and she saw the little baby ark rolling up in there. So God did all that and raised this guy up and then brought these people out and said, this is a group of people that I'm telling you that if I can get them to where I want them to be, I'm God. Because I got some of the most hard-headed folk who thought that where they came from was better than where I was taking them. And He said, no. And what I had to do was I had to get rid of some of the older members of the congregation, because out of all that I just did, they still didn't trust me. So God said, I don't have a problem starting over. I would take what's on the inside of you and use it. I don't waste now. He said, if I can't get the results out of you, then I would take what's on the inside of you or what you had, and I use it. I want to use you, but you're so hard-headed. You just saw me open up the Red Sea. You were there when I did it. You saw me and I brought you out. and I taught you all of what was on my mind, and then you get to a place that you telling me that you don't trust me, then I'll just send you back, go back there close to the Red Sea, and just stay there until you disappear. And I'll just take the little kids that you say, oh, what's going to be about that? But what's going to happen to the children? God said, I'm going to let them go to the promised land. All right. Now, we're in Deuteronomy 3. But let me set this picture up. When God told, when those guys went to Moses, well, first of all, God had told them to select leaders over every tribe. Good leaders, people that had a good reputation, people that had a renowned name. And these guys went to Moses and said, look, we want to go check out this land we're going to. Moses said, all right. Okay, we said, we just want to go check it out. So they all went over there and checked it out. These guys who didn't play, now they would like, you turn on the TV, they had the great big, they would, just in our day, they would be the most well-known preachers that you can find on TV. That's who I see these guys to be. So they went over there to Canaan, spied it out, and they came back with the truth. God didn't say they were lying. They came back and told them folk, only Caleb said we could do this. They came back with them big old grapes, and I imagine them looking like watermelons. And they were not lying. They had the proof to say, y'all see what this grape look like? Compared to the size of the guys that we saw, that we look like grasshoppers. They wasn't lying. Because the guy that we're going to read about today, Moses told us how big the bed they slept in. Just imagine, you got 2 king-size beds. A king-size bed is 6 feet, 6.5 feet, a little bit longer, and 6 feet wide. Now you take a king-size bed and you double it in length. That's about 13, 14 feet long. You talking about a great big old tall people. And when they came back and gave their report to those people, it scared those folks. So just the grapes themselves scared them folks. What is that? Grapes. Their grapes look like our, I don't know how big they were, but they were big enough for them to carry the cluster of grapes that they brought. So they were not lying when they told them folk were big. Because we were getting ready to go to the land of the giants. And I'm not talking about giants like we just sing about. I'm talking about somebody who actually slept in a real bed that was 14 feet at least 13 to 14 feet long. And God didn't like what they said. He said, I just opened up that Red Sea for you, fed you. You'd had nothing, and you are absolutely led by me, and you think that I'm intimidated by a giant. And you got these people all upset. I tell you what, you ain't going. That's all. What you saw is all you're going to see. So go on back to the Red Sea and just sit there until I get me a group of people to take y'all nowhere. Everybody that's 20 and up, the army people. Y'all know how to fight. Go on back. Go on back there to Egypt. Don't go to Egypt. Get on back there across it. Go to that sea that I go on back there. Since you don't want to believe me, how in the world I'm gonna do all that for you and you still don't believe me? I'll take me a new group. So this new group is who we're gonna talk about today. All right, Deuteronomy chapter 3. This is Moses talking, and he's telling these folk, y'all getting ready to go into this land. Don't you let nothing, nobody, nothing that you hear, nothing that you see, nothing that you taste, nothing that you feel, none of your senses. Don't get your senses out of the equation, and let's go see what God wants to do. I want to go to that land, Moses. I sure want to go. All right, we're going to see all this in chapter 3. He said, after we got through getting rid of the giants in Sihon, by King Sihon, I had to go in there, and I asked the Lord. I said, Lord, why is it that when you get rid of folk, you don't care nothing about the age of them? I mean, as far as the children, women. I understand women sometimes, but I want to know why did God deal with those children like that? He said, cause when I set in motion to put a person in charge, why I told you don't need no king. I'm gonna tell you later. All you need is me. Cause when you got a king, don't care nothing about you. And he make a decision that I sent him a word from me and said, let us pass through. That's all we're going to do. We're going to pay for our food. We're going to pay for our water. We just need to walk through your land. We don't bother nobody. And let us pass through. And the king told me, nope, 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 nope. You know how the kids say when you little, he started it. And God said that king came down there with all his stuff because they were so big and tall and we possess this land. We don't need God. We're not scared of you. Look at who we are. You're talking about a bunch of Goliaths. I'm talking about real. It was enough men standing around one bed to look like it was about 6 men. I don't know how many, but it was a lot of, they were standing around that bed. Like I said, a king-size bed, double mattress long. Two 6.5 feet, 14 feet mattress, and a man laid down on it. And they thought that their strength and their power and their size and their look was able to come against the people of God. And it wasn't. God said everybody not fighting. There's a lot of us, but it's all of us not fighting. So God is like, man, you come out here. I'm going home. I'm on my way to the house. And God had to set them giants in place and said, giants be gone. And them giants was no more. So here we are in Deuteronomy chapter 3. Next we turn, after we beat down Sihon, he said, and he told her, he said, don't you bother the children of Israel. I mean, Esau folk, leave them alone. And don't mess with Lot people. But Sihon, if they come out showing out, do what you got to do. And why did God allow the children? Because you shouldn't be sitting up under somebody in our day that I send them a word and then they won't take heed. You, your wife, and your children are in trouble if you are sitting under a leader that won't attend or pay attention to my word. That's how you get children in trouble, when the parents won't pay attention to the word of God. All of us have a copy of the word, so there's no such thing as you telling me what God said. I have a right to read the book to make sure that what my Siri is telling me, that it lines up with what God said. Siri think they know everything. But God said, check Siri out about what I said. And if Siri match what I said, then follow Siri. So parents, mamas, daddies, strong, weak, every shade. Check out the word and make sure that you're not following Sihon. And let's see who this guy is now. This King Og. These are people that ran. They were like the bullies of that area because of their size, and people scared of them. But God is trying to teach these folk, I don't care what you come in contact with. As long as I'm with you, you good. Next we turn and headed for the land of Bashan, where King Og and his entire army attacked us in Edrei. But the Lord told me, don't be afraid of him. He said, they came out, they started. Don't be afraid of them. And I'm reading from the New Living Translation. But the Lord told me, do not be afraid of him, for I have given you victory over Og and his entire army, and I will give you all his land. He coming out there? First of all, the earth is the Lord's. God is just not going around taking things. He said, I'm taking things that had no business being here doing what they were doing anyway. He said, if I own the earth and it's mine, and you own it and you don't want to do right by it, I'm going to move you out the way. I'm going to bring some, it's for instance, if you got a school, and that school dying, kids flunking. No, it's just, I mean, staff too relaxed. The earth is the Lord's. And he said, I will send my people in there and go in there and they will possess that school. So that's what God doing. He said, I'm moving people out of the way that's just wasting time in my land, since it's mine. He said, do not be afraid of him, for I have given you the victory over Og and his entire army, and I will give you his land. Treat him just like you treated King Sihon of the Amorites who ruled in Heshbon. That guy that came after you, that big giant guy that came after you, do to him the same way. So the Lord our God handed King Og and all his people over to us, and we killed them all. Not a single person survived. We conquered all 60 of his towns. That's how many he had. The entire Argob region in his kingdom of Bashan. Not a single town escaped out of our conquest. These towns were fortified with high walls. They was like, you can't get to us. They had fortified walls, barred gates. We also took many unwalled villages at the same time. That's why God is saying, in our day, all this stuff that people saying you can't come in and you're not good enough to be here. God said, take that stuff down. When I walk through, you got a right to live where you want to live. If you let me live in you. You got a right to go to any school you want to go to. If you take me with you. There's nothing that you can't have. He said, this earth is mine. Here we go with that song again. Thank you, Lord, for the song. Not a single town escaped our conquest. The towns were fortified with high walls, barred gates. We also took many unwalled villages. He said, we took down the neighborhood with walls and the ones that didn't have walls. We didn't care nothing about we didn't care nothing about, you know, you got a God standing out there. He said, we coming through. We completely destroyed the kingdom of Bashan, just as he had destroyed King Sihon of Heshbon. We destroyed all the people. And every town we conquered, men, women, and children alike. But we kept all the livestock for ourselves and took plunder of the town, of all the towns. So we took the land of 2 Amorite kings east of Jordan River, all the way from Arnon Gorge to Mount Hermon. Mount Hermon is called Sirion by the Sidonians, and the Amorites call it Senir. We had now conquered all the cities on the plateau and of Gilead and Bashan, as far as the towns of Silach and Edrei, which were part of Og's kingdom in Bashan. So all of what they got going on, they said, God just did it. See, that's when those guys went over there. Them 10 guys went over there and told them folk that, ooh, some giants over there. God said, boy, don't tell people that. Don't tell people there's anything that I can't conquer. King of, where am I? King of Bashan was the last survivor of the giant Rephites. I mean the giants, and I know what that word means. And he gave you evidence of how big they got, but this was just not a song that we sing, because we don't see giants. What we see is big, tall basketball players, but these guys saw Goliaths, with an S on it, more than one. His bed was made up. This is what Moses told him for you. That man bed. He said, "Did y'all see that man bed? That man bed was made of iron. It was more than 13 feet long and 6 feet wide. That's the evidence of the real, tangible thing that you can touch. When we took possession of this land, I gave it to the tribe of Reuben and Gad. We ain't even made it to the promised land. Gad and Reuben and the half tribe of Manasseh said, we want to stay on this side. So I told them, okay, you have to stay on this side. We took possession of this land. I gave the tribe of Reuben and Gad the territory beyond Orah, along the Arnon towns. Arnon, let me read it, Gorge, plus half the hill country of Gilead with this town. He said, well, I'm just letting y'all know what we gave. Then I gave the rest to Gilead, all of the Bashan, Og's former kingdom, the half tribe of Manasseh. You take that land, you get this land, you get this land. We haven't even made it to the promised land. These guys saw that cattle land and said, can we have this, Moses? Moses said, yeah, y'all can have it. This entire our God, he said, as long as you go there and fight, when we get to Canaan, you come back and do what you got to do, then y'all can have the land. This entire Argob region of Bashan used to be known as the land of the Rephites, or giants. Jair, a leader from the tribe of Manasseh, conquered the whole Argob region in Bashan, all the way to the border of Geshurites and Machites. I can't pronounce all these words. Jair renamed the region after himself, called it the town of Jair. He said, I'm going to name this after me, as it is still known today. I gave Gilead to the clan of Micah, but I also gave part of Gilead to the tribe of Reuben and Gad. He said, all the land that they wanted before we even got there, y'all can have it, as long as y'all go over there and help us beat down the folk in Canaan. The area I gave them extended from the middle of Arnon Gorge and the south of the Jabbok River of the Ammonites' frontier. They also received the Jordan Valley of the way, all the way from the Sea of Galilee down to the Dead Sea, with the Jordan River serving as the western boundary. To the east were the slopes of Pisgah. At that time I gave this command to the tribe that would live east of the Jordan. Although the Lord your God has given you this land as your property, all your fighting men must cross the Jordan. So he's telling Gad and Reuben and the half tribe of Manasseh, as long as y'all go over here and fight, men must cross the Jordan ahead of you, your Israelite relatives, armed and ready to assist them. You got to go help us fight, because what's going on inside of the promised land. Your wives, your children, your numerous livestock, however, may stay behind in the towns I have given you. When the Lord has given security to the rest of the Israelites, as he has said to you, and when they occupy the land of the Lord, your God has given them across the Jordan River, then you may all return here to the land I have given you. At that time I gave Joshua this charge. Now Joshua is the one God said, Moses, you're not going nowhere. So let me tell you what Joshua got to do. He said, Joshua, you have seen for yourself everything the Lord your God has done to these two kings. You saw everything. He would do the same to all kingdoms on the west side of the Jordan. If you saw him do it on this side, then he's going to do it on. If you see him do it on the west side, he's going to do it on. If you see him do it on the east side, he'll do it on the west side. He will do all these things in the kingdoms of the west side of Jordan. Do not be afraid of the nation. Therefore, the Lord your God will fight for you. At that time, I pleaded with the Lord and said, oh, sovereign Lord. This is Moses said, I started talking to the Lord. Lord, please let me go over there and let. Oh, sovereign Lord, you have only begun to show your greatness and the strength of your hand to me. Well, that's what the NIV say. I mean, NIV, New Living Translation. Let me tell y'all something. Moses was like, I want to go, Lord. I want to go see this football game. I want to go see you. I'm just seeing you do some stuff that me and you been talking, but I actually see you really doing what you took down all them giants. Oh, sovereign Lord, you have only begun to show your greatness and the strength of your hand to me, your servant. Is there any God in heaven or on earth who can perform such great and mighty deeds as you do? I can just see Moses saying, I like a good fight. Man, I've seen you do some stuff. I know you said you were going to do it, but to actually see you do it? I mean, I know the Red Sea and all that, but look, your hand. Is there any God in heaven or on earth who can perform such great and mighty deeds as you do? He said, please let me cross the Jordan and see this wonderful land on the other side, the beautiful hill country and the Lebanon mountains. He said, God, just let me see the beauty of it. Please. But the Lord was angry with me because of you, and he would not listen to me. He said, that's enough. He declared. Speak up, don't talk to me about that no more, Moses. Leave it alone. But go up to Pisgah Peak and look over the land in every direction. Take a good look at it, Moses. But you're not going across the Jordan River. He said, I want you to look at the north side, the east side. Take your time, the west side and the south side. Take a good look, but you may not cross the Jordan River. Instead, I want you to encourage Joshua and encourage and strengthen him. commission Joshua and encourage and strengthen him, for he will lead the people across the Jordan. He will give them all the land you now see before you as their possession. And Moses said, so we stayed in the valley near Beth Peor. So that is the entire chapter of Deuteronomy 3. Another story. Another complete story. No scriptures taken out. And I gave you what I thought. We stayed in line with the word. And God has given, through Moses, his plan. And that's chapter 3. I can't come out this late because I can't see nothing. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, I'm getting ready to go eat up some chapter 4. Another story. So stay in the word. Listen to the word. And let each chapter tell you the story of that particular time. It's a chapter. It is an event that we have to know according to what God said. And if he can knock down this giant and that giant, what you got in your life so big that God can't knock it down? Talk to y'all later. Love y'all. Bye.